Hey, it's o2manyfish. It is Sunday morning, December 27th, and with the help of my wife last night, we managed to start moving some of the corals from the old tank to the new tank. So as you can see, for those who are wondering, there's what the fiber grate looks like. That's what supported the island on the right side of the tank. And we took out a couple of the big colonies off the top here to get ready to move. Sorry, everything's so blue. I don't have my awesome yellow lens from my buddies over Phil. I'm sorry. You know how my brain's not working. Polyp Labs. Don't have my yellow filter. It's in the box with all the aquarium stuff. So anyways, tank looks a little bit different. As you can see, it was a bare bottom tank with just piles and piles of sediment that was sitting under just a few little pieces of rock work we moved last night. And this is after I scooped up about, I don't know, maybe 7 inches of crap and threw it into a 5-gallon bucket last night. So this is that was the front right corner of the tank, the front of the island. That's the back. And as you can see, it supports it. And that is one piece of rock that now has got so much Monty that is encrusted to it that last night, with the help of my wife, I was not able to lift that out of the tank to move it. The next piece is going to be our spire, which is right here. As you can see, that's one big piece of rock. Before anything grew on it, that thing was very difficult for me to manhandle. So we had a ton of people have offered to help us on moving all the stuff over, because it's not that far a move, other than it's just that freaking deep. But it's one of those kind of situations where too many hands doesn't really help, because as I'm pulling each rock out, I'm killing the vermitid snails, I'm removing some of these mushrooms that have taken over the tank that we're really not that fond of. And then also we spend all this money for live rock, and then as our live rock ages in the tank, it's hard to tell here because everything's blue, but all my rock is just solid purple in this tank. But it's not, because underneath it's just coralline that's sometimes 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm breaking that off. There was things years ago about old tank syndrome, about your live rock going bad, or maybe your deep sand bed was ruining old tanks. I think it's coralline like this, and this, just see how it's covering the rock? I mean, we buy the live rock for all the surface area for our biological filtration, and then we go, we want purple coralline so it's pretty, and the color's all up. And then what happens? We suffocate our live rock and also kill off our biological filtration. So I'm breaking off a bunch of that and trying to get my live rock back. So last night my wife helped me a bunch. She hauled stuff back and forth outside to the frag tanks, the corals that I was breaking off, or we didn't really want to put in here right away. So what was Sanjay's garden in the old tank of all our deep water corals, they're sitting over here right now. And we do have one fish in. Last week we caught the purple tangs and gem tang from the big tank and then put in our juveniles. One who got his butt kicked by the yellow tangs the first night. This purple showed up last night, and so he got moved in. He was getting his butt kicked last night too. So he got moved in last night to the 560. And he's got plenty of swimming space. There's a gorgonia that was in the back of the tank that nobody ever really saw. It seems nice and happy. This is when I put the 400 together. I didn't want an ugly bare bottom, so I'd put acrylic in with zoanthids at the time. So this is the piece of Monty that was across the front of the tank, and it'll get moved into the corner. This is the back, the fiber grate that's the back of the island, and those are the corals that go on top of the island. Okay. So anyways, my wife's going to help today. Tim Kelly of Unique Corals SI, UCSI, who's here visiting from the Solomon Islands, is going to be helping as well to get what's left in there moved over to here. And we'll be doing a fish tally too to let you know how many fish are really in the big tank.